it seemed like a good idea when I jumped the turnstile at the train station. Now, when I said jump it, I didn't really jump it.
More, I just rushed through without showing a ticket.
Yeah, so let's see how that turned out. I was reminded today when we were getting off the ship in Edinburgh, that's where I am today, of an incident last year sometime when we disembarked in Southampton and we got off about 6:37, and I was trying to get an early train. I hadn't booked it because, of course, I didn't know which one I was going to get. And if I booked one and missed it, then that would be a problem. So I got off the ship as early as I could with all my stuff and got a taxi straight to the train station. And as I was getting there, I was looking at what time the train was, and there was a train that I would either just miss or just catch. Anyway, I got there and I didn't have time to book the ticket or pay for the ticket and catch the train. So I'm going to sit down here. So I said to the ticket guard, "Whoops." I said, I just need to go through. He says, "Have you got a ticket?" I said, "No." I said, "I'm buying it right now." And he said, "Well, you can't go then." I said, "I'm going to miss my train and then I'll miss the next one and the next one." So anyway, I just went through. And he was just stood looking at me. And I jumped on the train, sat down. First thing I did, I went to book my ticket. Well, as I sat down, the train set off. What I didn't realise was, once the train's left a station, you can't book a ticket for that particular journey. So I was like, oh my God, what do I do now? I was going all the way from Southampton to London. So I did what I thought was the next best thing to do, and I booked a ticket for the next train, but of course I was on this one. Anyway, I did that. So I paid for a ticket. It was just not the right one. And I thought, I'll just see the inspector when he comes through. The train was busy. The inspector came through and I stood up to talk to him in private. So I didn't have to speak in front of everybody. And I explained to him what had happened, and he said, "It's okay." And I said, "Are you sure?" And he said, "Yeah." So he said, "Where are you from?" So I said, "Yorkshire." So he said, "Whereabouts?" So I said, "Well, I was born in Halifax, but I grew up in Brighouse." So he said, "My dad used to love the Brighouse and Rastrick Brass Band." And I said, "Oh, did he?" I said, "What, the floral dance and Terry Wogan?" And we talked about that. He said, "Give me 2 minutes." He said, "And I'll be back." So I said, "Okay." So I waited. Anyway, he came back and he said, "Come with me." So he took me into first class. So I went and sat in first class on the train, and which, it was no biggie really. It's just a different seat. It's not like going first class on a plane. But of course, it should have cost me a lot more. Anyway, so I went there, and then he said, "Oh, by the way," he said, "you can order whatever you want to eat or drink in here." So for the whole journey to London, that's what I did. So I enjoyed first class on the train, and he kept coming to talk to me. So his dad was from Yorkshire, and of course his dad had passed. So I think the fact that I was from Yorkshire, and we were in Southampton, it's a long way from Yorkshire. So I guess he just wanted to talk about his dad. So we did, and he kept coming to sit with me for 5 minutes here and there in between stops and the other jobs he had to do. So it actually turned out really well. So in terms of, it seemed like a good idea to jump that turnstile and just get on the train and think, I'll deal with it when I'm on the train. It did turn out well. And to be fair, I actually think, I did. It's not like I was trying to not pay a fare. And actually, I am a bit of a mischievous monkey. So I do things like that a lot. And I can't give you an example exactly, but as I get them, I'll share them. But I don't know if it's the kind of thing that most people do, or some people do, or do most people just do, what they're supposed to. But the alternative would have been to wait another hour for a train, and then I would have missed my next one and my next one. So I don't know. I just wonder what other people would do in those situations. Anyway, so as far as I'm concerned, for me, It did seem like a good idea at the time, and I think it was a good idea at the time. So I don't know if that was breaking a rule or bending a rule or just being. I suppose different people have different views of that type of thing, but I don't know. I do, like I say, I do things like that, and they kind of always work out. I didn't hurt anybody, did I? And I still paid my fare. So anyway, so getting off the ship this morning just reminded me of that, and I wonder if you've done the same. I don't know. You tell me. Have you ever done anything like that, and did it work out okay? I can't imagine ever really getting into trouble for something like that, but I don't know. Maybe I might do another time. I'm Cari. This is Flip Flops and Cowboy Boots, and today I'm in Edinburgh. So I hope you enjoyed the glimpse of Edinburgh at the end of this video.